Cal, it feels like a long time since our last game. How have the squad recovered?
Yeah, it's been a nice little rest, to be honest. Obviously from league action, we had the weekend off, and it's nice to just have the mental refresh because it's so demanding. You know, when you're Saturday, Tuesday, it's tough. But yeah, we're all looking forward to getting back on it again, and obviously it's going to be a tough game. But yeah, we're excited.
It kind of like catch-22, isn't it? We're on a good run of form, so you probably wanted to carry on, but did look a bit leggy towards the end of the Needham Market game, didn't we? A lot had been put into that week.
Yeah, it was, like I said, it was tough. It was a tough run of fixtures, and yeah, I think the tempo in the Needham Market game probably wasn't at the levels that we know we can play at. But I obviously put that down to having a tough period and a tough run of games.
In terms of that week, 9 from 9 at home, and then obviously the Chorley point as well. It was a good kind of 10 days, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good for everyone really. The confidence, you could see it grew game by game, and even going back to the Chorley game, we should have won that game. We had chances towards the end of the game, and obviously they had a few chances as well. It could have probably went either way, but in my opinion, we should have won that game. You know, we had a great chance at the end, but it wasn't meant to be, and we'd settle for a point really.
I know you and Danny love to score, but how good is it to have had that pressure taken off you in the last couple of games and see other lads score?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me too much because obviously that's what me and Dan are on the team to do, to create the goals, score the goals. So that's our job pretty much. Like, it's Fisty's job to keep the ball out of the net, which he does well. The defender's job obviously the same, and yeah, me and Dan have done that well this year. But like you said, it's great obviously that other people can get on the score sheet as well.
Yeah, you and Dan seem to be going toe to toe. How is that battle in the dressing room? Do you talk about it?
Not really, no. We don't really have discussions about it. We're just happy for each other really. You know, if Dan scores, it's great because we're probably in a good position in the game, and the same with me. Like, my goal the other night had probably secured the 3 points, and I'd imagine Dan would have been happy about that. Just like at Marine, he's put 2 in the back of the net, and I was obviously buzzing because we got 3 points from it.
There's something in the back of your head that you want the golden boot over Dan, I guess, though.
No, I'd love to win the golden boot. Yeah, same in the league, not just the Scunthorpe one. So I'll go in every game and try my best to score, and if I don't, I don't. And if Dan does, then Dan does. I
know we've covered it probably every time we've spoken this season, but how much are you enjoying it? Because it is a consistent run of games. You've been tested with your injury, with the hacks and the tackles you get, so you must be really happy with how things are going.
Yeah, I'm delighted with how the season's going. I think I've only had one real niggle, and like, it was just a niggle. But obviously, touch wood, it stays like that, and I can continue to keep playing.
Do you see them moments in your head when you do get hacked down? You think, hopefully that's not anything. When you stay down, like I think just before half time, wasn't it, in the last game?
Yeah, you know, there's always going to be a few bad tackles. I'm not much of a tackler myself, so I don't really put myself in the situations to hurt anyone else and get hurt that way. It's just normally times when I'm running with the ball and get tripped up, you can land awkward. You can never know what happens. Even if you look back to the pre-season last year, the game against Hull, where I've just went to block a clearance and ended up being out for a while for my ankle. You can never really predict what's going to happen to you. But yeah, like I said, touch wood, it stays the way it's been staying.
How much do you trust your body now? Because it must have been a confidence knock in previous seasons.
Yeah, the injury that I had, it's so hard to come back from. I've spoke to other people who've had that injury as well, and they've said the exact same. You can ask Luke Williams, he had the same one, and he struggled to come back from it. And it's not just people at this level, it's people at the top level. You see, it's a reoccurring injury. But I feel like I'm fully over it now. I felt like I worked hard in the summer to get a base level of fitness to come back and obviously progress, and I feel like I've done that well this year.
Talk about Luke, it kind of derailed his career when he was with Scunthorpe the first time. So from looking at that 10 years gap to coming back, I suppose you're delighted with how quickly you've managed to get back on track.
Yeah, it's probably took us, I'd say, 2 full seasons to get over it fully. You know, to not just trust my body again, but to like feel normal again. Like last year, I didn't really feel normal. The year before, obviously, when it happened, it's a real tough one to get over, like I said. But yeah, like I said, I'm over that now, and obviously I'm just delighted to be playing football every week.
When you reflect on it, do you ever think at the time, like, is this gonna work for me? Is it ever gonna work? Will I have to stop, kind of thing?
Yeah, you think that, when it happened, I wasn't really aware of the injury because I'd never had a hamstring injury before. I wasn't really aware of like the severity of it, and I had the operation, come back from it, and I felt alright. And yeah, it happened again, so we had to obviously have the second surgery. And then when I got back from that, it was tough to get going because obviously one hamstring's more, it's stronger than the other hamstring, so you need to adjust, and obviously it takes time for your body to get used to it. So it's tough, yeah.
Out of January now, I know there's a lot of outside noise, but have you been taking any notice of any outside noise at all?
Nah, literally none. If I get a phone call from my agent, I'll answer it and speak to them, but I've not even had one, so obviously there was nothing even to think about.
In terms of that, would you kind of want to focus? It is probably your best season in a long time. I suppose you don't want to derail that, do you? How well you're playing and consistently playing, things like that.
Yeah, even before January, when I spoke to my agent, he was saying there might be a bit of interest, there might not be. If there is, what would you want to do? And I've always said, and I said the same thing to the gaffer as well, I was like, I don't want to leave in January. My aim is to get promoted here, and that's exactly what I want to do. So in a way, I'm delighted to be here, and obviously to stay past January. Yeah.
And I suppose with not having that, you've not had the distractions either. You just managed to just carry on during the month and do what you do.
Yeah, like you said, there's not been one distraction. You can see when sometimes a player is on the verge of getting a move that can pull out of games, not train properly, not play properly. But yeah, there's been nothing, so it's been plain sailing really for the full month.
Warrington tomorrow, it's another team in a relegation scrap, and we've had kind of mixed performances against teams down there. What do we need to do tomorrow to get the 3 points?
Yeah, I think you summed it up perfectly there. We've went into the big games and we've raised our level, and we went into the so-called not big games and dipped a little bit, like you use Rush Hall for an example. But I feel like now if we want to win the league and be serious about it, we need to up our level in every game now. So we need to go into tomorrow and play like it's a big game, because it is a big game really. We need 3 points, Chester are the form team now, so we need to catch them. I think we're 4 points behind them, so we need to keep the pressure on them. Like last year when Tamworth kind of ran away with it at the end, it was out of our hands then, so we need to keep it in our hands and obviously keep the pressure on.
I know obviously we've said consistency is key across the season. Do you feel like if we can carry on that form, it'll be us and Chester that kind of pull away from the pack at this stage? Looking
at the league this year, I feel like there's going to be maybe 3 or 4 teams going for it. Kiddie have got games in hand, Curzon have got games in hand, Brackley are up there, so I don't feel like there's just going to be one team run away with it or 2 teams. I feel like it's going to be really tight at the end. Yeah, and the way it's shaping up, we've got most of them teams to play as well, so at this stage it is all in our hands, isn't it? Yeah, I suppose it is. We've got Curzon on Tuesday, which is a massive game for us. Then if you're looking towards next month, I think we've got Chester and Kiddie in the space of a week. So it's going to be, I'd say, a massive 2 month for everyone here, really. And I feel like this month, going into next month, it'll either cement it or it could probably take it out of our hands, just depending on results and performances.
As a player, how much do you kind of get excited for this stage of the season where it really does start to matter?
Yeah, it's the business end now, isn't it, really? Scoff says it in the dressing room after games, maybe it's like 2-3 weeks ago, where we've won, but they'll say like nobody will remember this game now. It's the games where you need to play well, you need to win. That's what they'll remember. So people will remember Kiddie at home where we won 2-0. Probably nobody will remember when we won 6-0 against Farsley. That's just how it goes. So we've got to step up again, and obviously the big games, and make it a good performance for us.
Like you say, 2 games here again next week, including Curzon. If we can carry on the home form like we have done in the last few weeks, that could be key to the season, couldn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be massive, really. We've got another tough run of games now. And like you said, playing at home is massive, playing in front of our fans with the support we get. It's a massive help, so obviously the more the better for us, really.